Forever. Dog.
Hello. This is a collect call from
Jeffrey Epstein,
an inmate at a New York correctional facility. To accept the charges, press 1. You may start the call now.
Oh boy, hey,
thanks for taking the call.
I guess it's Jeff here on the line.
Yeah, Bill, I gotta tell you, man.
Oh, great.
I mean, I am not enjoying. Bill, jail is not what they claim. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. I'll tell you that.
Well, I can't say it's good to hear from you. I hope that it's somewhat accommodating. Maybe you've got a pillow at least. Let me just say off the bat, Jeff, this phone call is not happening, but thanks for calling.
I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. I mean, what's happening? What's happening to our penal system? Hey, I got horny saying penal system.
Well, tell me about. Look, I think I agree with you on that. There is a runaway problem in the criminal justice system when billionaire sex offenders are starting to suffer for their crimes. I agree with you on that, Jeff.
I'm the bad guy because I like the ladies. I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy because I don't check ID. That makes me the person who's done something wrong? I don't think so.
Look, I tried to help you out as much as I could. I stuck my neck out just a little bit. We tried to get you that sweetheart deal down in Florida. Leaned on a couple of good friends down there. But unfortunately, that was a one-time sweetheart deal, and it looks like that guy has got me now in a bunch of sweetheart trouble.
Oh, come on. You used to be up for fun. Well, I mean, what are you getting conservative? I hate to say conservative to you, but you're getting that way in your old age. Come on, man.
You know me. I am nominally as liberal as I always have pretended to be.
You kill me.
Well, careful what you wish for. Honestly, I love hearing your voice. I got to say, maybe it was a mistake for me to set up and do that whole QAnon thing and confess to all these crimes. I thought if I exaggerated enough on the message boards that it would discredit the whole thing, but it turns out they're just believing everything I said.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm starting to get, I got to tell you something. Can I be honest with you? I'm starting to get a little concerned about what might happen to me.
I heard you were in the same prison as El Chapo. That's got nothing but downside to it.
I'm dying inside.
Hey, Jeff Epstein, go on Chapo.
I'm dying inside. You've got to help me, Bill. Don't fuck with me. Get me out of jail and
look. I fucked with you enough. I fucked with you enough for one lifetime and one historical legacy, Jeff.
If I'm going down, you're going down, and I don't mean that sexually. That's the first time I haven't meant it sexually. But I'm going down, you're going down. I know where the bodies are buried.
You know me, Jeff. As sexual as I get, I am very, very non-reciprocal in everything I've done. So I'm not going down for anybody. That hadn't happened in a long time.
I trusted you. That's what I get for trusting people. Maybe I was too nice.
Jeff, why was there any indication along the entire career that anyone, especially a seasoned insider operative like you, should be trusting someone like Bill Clinton?
Do you have Dick Morris's phone number?
I got him on WhatsApp, but I don't dial numbers. I don't dial numbers anymore. I use a VPN. It's good. In about 3 weeks, no, there's going to be no digital trace of Bill Clinton. I'm trying to get CNN to erase my vocal patterns from all the old broadcasts.
You don't get me out of here. I'm going to triangulate you by your throat. Think about that.
What? Oh,
that's right. I know.
Jeff, look, I got one more idea. Why don't we just blow up the whole island? Why don't we let's send some goons down there on cigarette boats. We can have maybe one more last hurrah down there in St. Vincent, and then we just ring the whole island, Little St. James, with explosives, and just boom, and then it's like an episode of the Honeymooners or the Flintstones where we're like, well, I guess we've got our way out of that one.
Oh man, you are singing my.
The best advice I can give you now, Jeff, is try your best to. Why don't you try to pin this on Trump and not me?
Can I ask you one more question?
He's as guilty as I am, but I would just appreciate it if you would just lead off with that side of this national existential crisis of a scandal. If you could try to just swing it over to that side and not so much my side.
If you were going to hang yourself in jail, what would you use? because I don't know what to do at this point. It's over for me.
A G-string. Don't worry. But look, Jeff. I am backing you up. I am backing you up all the way, and I will be backing you up till the moment that you never hear from me again.
Oh man, that's
well,
really...
You'll know when it's too late. You'll look up and you'll say, "Oh, I get it. I was dealing with a grand bastard." When when you see the checkmate fold in, you go, "Oh, I made the wrong move 3 hours ago." You don't realize it while it's happening.
Whoa. Well, I hope this whole thing blows over and we can get back to partying, because this thing is such a bummer for me.
I agree with you on that. I hope it blows over. Emphasis on blow over.
I can't believe it. I might go to jail for the rest of my life, but I still love when you say blow over. Get out of here, copper! Let me out of this joint! I can't take it! Don't put me in the hole!
Oh, that's the first time I've heard him say that.
Who are they? Who indeed are these? Shunned by society, forbidden from the walls of the sacred castles. They were the sonorous outcast scions of a doomed civilization. They lived among us. They walked at night. They were the Underculture. The Underculture. They were the Underculture. They were the Underculture.
That was potentially explosive information, as Jesse Ventura would say. Unbelievable that we're getting this. That was just a recorded phone call between Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein that happened in the last couple of days, I guess. We received that here on the Underculture. By the way, you're listening to the Underculture podcast. That should be obvious by now. We received that on our Patreon, which remains the only way to contact us that we will pay attention to. Patreon.com/the Underculture. That's where we're getting the majority of these leaked audio segments. And this was fascinating because it's in the news. For some reason, someone with access to Bill Clinton leaked that to us. It sounded like he was recording it of his own volition, but we got it unedited, so I don't think it was Bill Clinton who sent it to us. I wonder if it was hacked or leaked from someone close to Bill Clinton. Maybe it was Hillary. Maybe Hillary got a hold of the raw audio and sent it down. I don't know who. I can't speculate. All I know is that that's unbelievable that we got that incredible audio clip of Jeffrey Epstein calling from prison, Bill Clinton recording it on the other end. I'm like a lot of comedy these days. The Underculture is mostly doing news. This is our 10th episode. We started in early May. It's now early to mid-July. I'm very excited we have 10 episodes in the can. We are now officially long enough for you to drive across the country listening to the Underculture and catch up. And it's summer road trip season. I think this is a perfect, if you want to drive across the country, we've got like 12 hours, probably 15 hours if you're listening to the extended Patreon versions. There's more than enough time to drive across the country and then have some kind of detour escapade disaster that maybe drive into the Grand Canyon and get stuck, and there'll still be plenty of Underculture to cover your journey. It's exciting to be here with you. I want to thank everybody that's supporting us and continuing to do so. We pay all of our guests on this show. That's not the industry norm, and yet we're continuing to do it like bullheaded, stubborn assholes. So your support on Patreon is allowing us to do that. I appreciate it. This is a public service. This is also legally considered satire. And now for our next segment, this is a main chunk of audio gold that we received, and it's actually good timing. The new Star Trek show Picard it was announced with the big poster teaser this week, and Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart, is doing a lot of press for this new Star Trek show, Picard. And so we have a big audio interview now between Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. They're good friends. They've done so much together. This sounded like it was part of Sir Patrick Stewart's press junket for Picard. We went to talk to his good friend Ian McKellen. I'm not sure if it was maybe a pilot for Ian McKellen's podcast. It wasn't clear. Or maybe it's just an excuse for them to hang out in audio format. They're old friends. Maybe that's just the way they do it. I'm honored to have this. Who knows? Maybe Patrick Stewart or Ian McKellen, they're a fan of the show. I know we have a small following in the UK. And maybe. And I listened to the first part of this clip that I'm about to play. It sounds, I mean, to my American ear, it sounds correct. The accents, it sounds like the way they're supposed to sound. They sound very, very theatrically British. And so, I mean, as far as I can tell, with my American ears, born in Omaha, this is legit. So this is an interview between Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, best friends, close friends, lifelong theater buddies. We should not have this, but somehow we do. So take it away, Sir Ian McKellen.
Number one.
Oh, you hear him already. Shut up, you old fool. It is I, Sir Ian McKellen. I'm in New York for 3 or 6 months, perhaps 9 or 10 years, depending on the 6. You never know with a show how long it's going to run.
Yes.
And so I reached out to an old dear friend.
Not too old.
A partner of the theatre.
Yes.
Someone I have known and admired for so long. Someone with whom I have trod the boards. Someone who is as a devoted servant of Dionysus as am I. And I welcome him, my old friend. My friend, strong of timber of voice, feeble perhaps in countenance, as are all the legends of the stage.
Yes.
And yet, the old spark is still there.
Badly. It's me, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Sir Patrick Stewart. I am Sir Ian McKellen.
I'm Sir Patrick Stewart, and this will not stand.
You shall not pass.
No, we must destroy them all.
There are orcs and goblins over there.
Geordie, get to the ready room immediately. Prepare a full phaser array. I'll be playing Sherlock Holmes in the holodeck.
My God, there are gods and monsters upon us on all sides.
My little French nephew is dead, and now I must get revenge against the Borg.
Ha 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 ha! Your performances are nothing short of iconic.
Well, let me tell you a little story about that, actually. In filming Star Trek The Next Generation, the movie Generations, I remember when they gave me
one of the greatest films.
It was a classic
committed to celluloid.
Data had told me, or someone informed me, I don't remember who was on the crew, said your nephew died. And I said, let's put that in the script. So, when you see me mourning my dead nephew, those are real photos.
And you are on your farm in France.
I was that was in the finale of Star Trek The Next Generation.
The television program. Worthless. What a horrible medium.
It was a waste of time. I was waiting to go to film, and when we went to film, it was delightful. But not, of course, the only thing is The Blunt Truth. That's the one show, I think, that's wonderful on television.
Do you record it on your television TiVo?
I record it. As a producer, you get the DVDs early. It's a wonderful thing. They mail you a DVD in the mail.
I look down upon television.
Well, I look up to it.
Well, we've always disagreed. We've only met in the middle.
Well,
on the stage.
Where we met on the
sacred
stage.
Proscenium March.
Do you remember when we were
I remember all, and yet I forget anything that's not canonical.
I remember we were doing a production of Little Titty's Pennies, which was a lovely piece done at the...
Ah, yes, down at the St. Vitus Theatre.
Yes, at the St. Vitus, you remember.
It was you and I.
And that was when the West End was still the East End before they changed
it. It was the West End before they picked up London and turned her on her side.
That's right. And we were performing, and I, of course, was playing Little Penny, and you were playing the titties. And of course, that's slang, but for those Americans listening, what a little titty was a very bothersome old man who acted like a woman.
Little titty. Yes, and a little bit Penny. Penny was, I'm merely here looking for my penny.
Yes, I'm a man missing currency. And that play ran for over 6 years.
It was roundly panned, and yet we was financed. It was financed. It was self-financed. We kept pouring the pounds. Tuppence for penny and titty. Patrick, my dear old friend.
My dear friend.
I've known you so long. You're the only one that I've known that's still around.
Well, that's not true. Of course, there's Richard Burton. Oh, no, he's dead. Oh, Doris Day. How about her? She's a wonderful gal.
Derek Jacobi.
Derek Jacobi. Oh, and of course, Adam West.
We lost him.
Well, I hear that Doris Day is on her way out.
He was murdered by that clown.
By Burt Ward, yes. He is a clown of an actor.
He put on the Joker makeup and murdered him.
That's right.
Ran over him with the Batmobile. Right up there in Griffith Park.
And they didn't know that the Batmobile... This is a true story. The Batmobile, nobody thought it ran. Because the Batmobile had lost its wheel.
You are a consultant on the program.
Yes. And the reporting at the time was the Batmobile lost its wheel and the Joker got away. And, and then everyone
I remember reading that in the London Times.
Yes,
I remember reading that, and I dropped my tea and I said, my God, the Joker got away.
He did. And Batman smells, as you know, so that's why they had to kill him. Adam West stunk.
It happened right at Christmas time, did it not?
He was eating the Christmas pussy on the dinner table, as he always did. He was in Lady Chatterley's Lover, which is a story.
Well, we've always diverged at that point.
What?
The Christmas pussy.
I always have a good, fat, juicy Christmas pussy.
I no longer pretend to eat Christmas pussy. I'm openly gay, and I recommend that you all come out of the closet and spit the Christmas pussy out of your tongues.
Well, I'll say something.
And you have always supported.
Yes, and I agree. There should be a Christmas cock or a Christmas butthole if you want it. It shouldn't just be a Christmas pussy, and I believe the Anglican Church is wrong on that.
You have always been a dear friend.
Yes.
And I apologize for that time I went for your waistband.
Oh, don't bother being good.
Now, we are in New York, of course.
Yes.
We're in a dirty old town, a railroad town.
Yeah, well.
It's not bad. Now, of course, the audience might be largely Americans.
Yes.
And I want to say this.
Yes.
We sound exactly how we've always sound, which is correct.
We always sound the same.
We've always sounded identical. I've heard this before. To Americans, they can't tell us apart.
Don't believe them. Don't trust them.
One of us is gay, and one of us is bald.
And one of us is bald down there.
But other than that, there's almost no difference in the way we...
I'll admit it. I have alopecia of the genitals. It's wonderful because if you photograph me from the waist down, they've used me in a number of pedophile stings because I looked prepubescent from the waist down. So they have photographed my genitals, the NYPD, and used them online to bait pedophiles.
You've made that deal in exchange as the price for your stay, for your long visa.
You have to do it, and I'll say I've been present at a number of the busts. And it's quite interesting because, of course, what they do is they have a kitchen, and it's one of those converted counters so that you don't see the top half of a person. And I stand there and I go, come on in, please. It's one of
a hanging kitchen counter.
Yes.
That sounds like an art exhibit.
It's a hanging kitchen counter, and they come in, the predator. And, of course, and in this case...
Snarling, the predator snarling with its mandible claws.
Oh, we caught an actual alien predator.
Did you know that I played the Predator at the Old Vic in
yes,
London?
Yes, I do remember this.
It ran for 4 weeks. It was a treasured memory.
You don't remember?
The notices were not only negative, they called for my public beating.
Oh, yes, I was one of them.
I played the Predator monster. And the monologues were not well received.
That was Sandy Wellington who played one of the trees, correct? Oh, it's like being on the stage again. Don't you remember?
It was magic that rivaled Richard III.
Well, I sent you backstage. I sent you 6 cans of Marmite.
Yes. I wasn't able to eat because of the mandibles.
Arranged in a bouquet.
So your genitals have helped law enforcement.
Yes, so anyway, this predator...
Let's by all means get back to it.
Well, I just want to finish it. That they would catch me to go, well, there's a little boy standing in the kitchen. And then I'd step out and go, I'm afraid not. I'm Patrick Stewart from Star Trek The Next Generation and the X-Men movies.
It's always important when you're involved helping law enforcement with sex crimes to identify your full list of credits.
Of course. And also that Jeffrey movie I did. Remember where I played that queen?
Well, I loved you, of course, I remember.
It was my first foray, and I remember I spent hours with you in your apartment. Do you remember this?
I remember every hour. I remember the minutes as they ticked by.
And this was when you went for my buckle.
Your buckle, and you allowed. You allowed it to occur. I remember being in the presence of a distinctly large and yet flaccid penis.
Well, that's because...
And you showed there was no visible appetite, and I knew that you were then a friend and not a lover.
No, I have to tell you, you shouldn't make that assumption, because one of the side effects of my alopecia is that I also have a prepubescent genital system. So I don't produce cum, I produce just a clear liquid. And, of course, I can only get semi-hard, but it more so looks like an erect thumb.
My God. I see that you're giving a 1 thumb up, but it appears to be 2.
Well, that's because one of them is my little hardy.
You unbuckled yourself again, Stuart.
I got you. Old schoolboy pranks die hard.
In my home, you must come by.
I have been to your home.
Oh, the new one, not that old dump.
Oh, I hated it.
But sometimes you go to someone's house and they say you have to take your shoes off.
Yes.
In my home, you must don a Greek theater mask and strap on an ancient...
Ow!
Oh, my God, are you hurt?
I was trying to put a mask on.
There's a bruise on your leg that looks like it will never go away.
No, it's fine.
We are so old. Any injury now becomes part of the geography.
Yes, you should look at my chest, see how it's concave here.
Oh, my God. That's merely from coughing.
Yeah, it was from coughing. From me patting my own chest to stop the cough. I dented my own chest. It's unbelievable.
Should you join me in my home, Patrick, which I hope you would join us for tea.
I'd love to come over.
You will be asked to put on the Greek theater mask. There is a wide range available from King Creon, from Antigone to, of course, Oedipus Rex. And then I ask my guests to strap on a phallus, an Aristophanean phallus.
Well, what if I was going to be...
It might be a bird phallus or a frog phallus. Coax.
But what if I was to be Minerva? Would you have me wear a phallus?
Well, of course, Minerva has a phallus that at the end of it there is a vagina.
Yes.
It is an extended Aristophanean phallus.
You know, when I was a young boy, and you remember this, we would play together, and I would say, I want to cut this penis off and see if there's a vagina underneath. And, of course, Ian would always say, don't do it, because we don't know what's under there.
I said, don't do it.
Yes, and I went,
I said,
why?
Pretend to on stage.
And so we did. and we did that wonderful play. Don't you remember Old Choppers? And it was two men, and everyone thought it was about motorcycles. And we had a huge Hells Angels audience, and they were coming from everywhere.
That ran at the Ricardo Theatre for 4 months. It was ecstatic reviews, and no one showed up.
I was very grateful to Lucille Ball for that, because, of course, she was the one who funded that play and named the theatre the Ricky Ricardo Theatre. And
the old red-headed bat was still around and good for something.
And she was the one who produced Star Trek, for which I would not have any fame if it wasn't for Desilu Productions, which saved Star Trek.
Star Trek produced
66, yes.
Why weren't there more scenes of Captain Kirk pulling chocolates off of assembly lines?
Well, I'll tell you. You know, because when we did that, Bill, and I remember this in generations, Bill Shatner said to me, he said, I want to do a scene where we eat our own shit on a conveyor belt. And I went, I think that's insane. And he said, I murdered my wife. I went, you're right. So I said, let's try.
He has one drink and he starts saying.
Totally confessing, because I pushed her in that pool, that drunk bitch, and I pushed her under with one of the fishing things until she was down. And then I called 911 and I said, my wife is at the bottom of the pool. And the operator said, this is a real 911 call you could listen to. And the operator said, sir, well, where is she? And can you get her out? And he went, well, she's in the deep end.
You know, I am adapting the tragedy of William Shatner into a production of Hamlet.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes, where at the end, where Claudius and Gertrude he accidentally kills her. It's intentional, and it happens in a swimming pool.
Oh, really? What an incredible transformation you've made.
I believe in the theatre.
Don't you think when people are doing Shakespeare, don't you want it to be proper? I feel, as I was talking to Deanna Troy one time in our counseling session, I said, I'm tired of all these interpretations. And of course we were prepared.
Oh, you mean that pig and dick parade where they're all...
How dare you call Deanna Troy a pig and dick parade?
Well, I was merely speaking. Step off. Stand down, you fool. You old fool. Don't pull your sword out at me.
I'll show you something.
We always carry our knight swords around with us.
Clang.
Clang.
Clack.
Clock. Ow!
Oh, God.
You've hurt my wrist, you fool.
I hurt my own chin.
You banged the blunt side of the sword up into your chin. You'll never recover from that bruise.
I'll tell you what else you won't recover from.
Your bald head is now, there's a mark on it like Mikhail Gorbachev.
Yes, well, I heard your previous episode, and I have to say I plan to play him on the stage. But I wanted to remark...
you speak of the Underculture, of course.
Oh, yes.
I listen to that. I listen to that program in the mornings when I am practicing my vocal warm-ups.
That's why I said it was your podcast, because you recommended it.
I recommended it to you.
Yes, that's right.
Isn't it fun to have some kind of thing that you have to proper reality? You've got to keep going.
Of course, like with the Borg when they kept me and they called me Locutus. I live with that every day. Part of the Borg collective calling upon me to assimilate you particularly.
Have you accessed those memories for the stage? That part of your life?
Yes.
Have you recalled that time as a sense memory of having a leather steampunk eyepiece over one half of your egg face?
Yes, I'll tell you what. Recently, I did a production up in the Berkshires at the Little Wet Pond Theatre.
The Little Wet!
The Little Wet, as they call it. And I'll tell you what a great theatre it is. I did a production of a stage translation of the film Cube.
You know, I was just in the side theatre there at the Little Wet Pond Theatre. I was in the Tadpole Room.
Yes, the Tadpole Room. All the best drag acts.
Just getting fucked by a stage manager.
Oh, during a drag show?
During your show. It was dreadfully boring, old man.
I do a drag show at the side theatre as well.
At the Tadpole Room?
At the Tadpole Room.
Oh, my God.
But mostly they named the Tadpole Room after my penis.
What was your production in the Berkshires?
The Cube. The movie turned to stage play Cube.
Yes, that? The Cube.
The people who are stuck.
Won't you tell us of the Cube?
So, a number of people wake up, all in a giant cube. and they are from different perspectives and backgrounds, and they don't know why they're there. And then they must escape the cube, but of course some of them are selfish, and they each think the other one put them there. Well, after moving from different cube to different cube...
And they realize it's all one cube, isn't it?
Of course, it's all one cube.
It's all more or less one cube with different entrances.
Isn't it always all one cube?
But you're in New York doing a production of True West. It feels like the whole damn thing is a cube.
Of course, or Buried Child.
Now, what here in the twilight years?
Yes.
What projects are you currently engaged in on the cinema or on the stage?
Well, I would like to tell you about, you said earlier that I hit myself in the chin with my blunt instrument. There it is.
You're
I finally
terribly
sound like myself.
We lost it for a moment.
Only 20 minutes in, and I finally sound like myself.
Well, what happens when we're around each other is almost, if you're familiar with feedback on a microphone, we sound so similar that our voices start... Well, there's a terrible ringing in the room.
You could argue it's like when people do harmony.
There is a certain harmony, as we know from Aristotle's Poetics.
Yes, of course, poetics and dialectics and Dianetics.
You famously played Captain Picard on Star Trek.
Yes, played is a stretch. I lived him. And, of course, as I'm fond of saying to Geordie, who I see all the time, we go to...
LeVar Burton.
Geordie, we go to the Sunset Marquee for lunch, which is a lovely outdoor restaurant.
Strawberry leaves.
Yes, beautiful, and a little koi pond.
A little koi, and you can drink koi tea if you're willing to pay enough.
Of course, you can.
The koi fish live hundreds of years, but you can dunk them in a little tea.
And let me tell you, it will keep your blood young. And you're Geordie. I said you're Geordie.
Not mine. I was never young. I was always old.
Oh, now, Ian. It is true. You are old.
I've loved it.
You looked the same when you were 12.
It sounds like you're justifying.
I'll say this. If there was a sexual preference that was as illegal as pedophilia for old people, you would be the perfect mark for the police.
I consider it a distinct honor that I am not able to fulfill that fancy of yours.
Elderphilia.
There is, and I thrive on it.
Yeah.
How else do you think you get laid at this age?
I don't get laid. I prefer to live completely celibate now.
Do you?
Well, ever since
you seem to have you seem to have something lovely going on.
Well, it's young, and it's
young.
Yes, my girlfriend
is in it.
Well, this is the Borg in me. You see, I see human beings as its and things, and one of the problems is that when I was converted by the Borg, they put a metal plate on my cock.
You never came back, and the Borg put a chastity device on your cock.
Yes, they put a metal plate on there, and it has a little eye, and then some other steampunk stuff, and like a little keyboard that they took off.
You shall not splooge.
That's exactly what they said. That's what they yelled at me, and I went, I've had that before. My friend Sir Ian said that in the movie. Don't take his quotes, Borg. And they didn't listen to me. They still slapped it right on my cock.
So the Borg, of course, can see films from their future.
Yes, of course.
There's no time.
Well, they can move anywhere they want, in time and space. But with my relationship with
my... Oh, my God, the cube is a Borg cube.
Well, this is what I thought when I signed on to the play, but then it turns out they said it wasn't. I was very disappointed, so I put my own spin on it without telling the stage manager or anybody. I showed up dressed as Locutus, but in a Star Trek The Next Generation uniform for opening night. And they said to me, what are you doing? You can't go out and do that. You can't perform like that. And I said, I'll do what I wish. And I performed an hour monologue of different various Star Trek monologues I had done across the seasons while the whole cast watched.
I've been known for doing a one-man show where I do literally every Shakespeare character wearing a full Gandalf costume.
Yes, you do.
I go through all of them wearing but the Gandalf costumes have to change, of course.
Yes, of course.
Sometimes there's the long pipe.
Right.
Gandalf the Grey.
That's a great Gandalf.
Gandalf the Grey.
Where am I? The Shire?
Oh, yes. I see the theatre of the mind has brought you here.
Oh, it's me.
Young Bilbo.
Yes, it's me, young stupid Bilbo.
Here I am, Gandalf the Grey.
Oh, I have only my honey pots and my little cakes to eat. Should I go on an adventure?
Would you like to go on an adventure? Follow me through the round door. Down through the lane, across where there's not a lot of other hobbits. Maybe just follow me here, Bilbo.
Sure, I feel free. Let me just lock up the little round door.
Oh, that's nice. There you are.
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just friends, that's all.
You're pulling the rope off of my little pants. Do you know that my hobbit cock is as big as a hobbit foot?
My God, it flops out. It's true what they say about the hobbits, and it's got fur on the top of the cock, like on your feet.
Now, you want to know another thing, is a lot of people don't know that the ring is actually a big cock ring.
It is a cock ring. Of course I know that. And that's the kind of monologue that I've been doing, that I would do.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we not
I would
in
do
the
that.
Shire?
I would do that at the Pig and Dick Theatre. And scene. Exeunt all.
Thank you. You know you have to say that to me, Ian.
Exeunt.
Thank you.
And it's almost like it almost like it banishes demonic forces from you.
Well, I do feel
Dionysus, is he a god or is he a demon?
He's both. That's the point, isn't it? We are like two faces of the triune God, manifesting itself one side against the other, while the third is our co-interaction, making the Trinity.
You mean the two faces of Janus?
Yes.
The two-headed god. Or do you mean Cerberus?
No, I mean Janus. And as you know, Janus has a third face in most mythology not referred to.
Well, he doesn't have a third face in the pre-roll when you see Janus pictures in old film.
Yes, this is true. What a great opening that is, I remember.
Bong, 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 bong.
And then, what is it? Is it an Ingmar Bergman thing? Yes, it is.
Whatever it is, you'll probably be seeing at the Nighthawk Theatre.
Of course.
Or you'll be seeing over at Film Forum, or you'll be seeing it on a projector at home on the Criterion Channel.
I would do the Nighthawk because, of course, they have these delicious drinks and an incredible drink menu, and they're very fast with the appetizers. I love the tater tots and cheese.
Are you so hard up, Patrick, that you are? That you are
waiting?
Endorsed by Cinema Theatre?
Oh, I'm worse than that. I work at the Nighthawk. I'm a waiter.
You wait on the...
I'm a waiter and a projectionist, so I have to run up and load the film reels and then...
Surely you get recognized.
No, nobody recognizes me because I wear my wine country outfit from the finale of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Where there's the dead nephew and you're rolling your elbows through muesli bags of muesli. I always loved the origin of Captain Picard. He came from a world of muesli and wine and burlap bags, and then he was whisked away to outer space.
Into space with this story, because of course, you have to write your backstory, as you know, and I came up with
I've written everything I've done.
Well, I always thought that what happened was I was conceived in a big bin of muesli, and then I was born out of it. So I erupted out of the muesli, formed, crunchy. Fully formed, but yet with the genitals of a boy.
Sprang from the mind of muesli like Diana from the... Like Athena from the head of Zeus.
Exactly. Or, like the way a gremlin popped off of Gizmo's back.
We've all had embarrassing roles, have we not?
Yes.
I played, I was one of the larger gremlins.
Were?
I was one of the this was in a desperate time, and of course, being young and gay, there weren't many opportunities for you. So I got a part in Joe Dante's film, The Gremlins,
really?
As one of the larger gremlins.
I do remember.
They're going
You played klepto, right? He stole things.
It was we just sat. I sat on tables. I sat on desks, and but I had to sit there, and you couldn't move much.
Well, no, because you're a gremlin.
It was a terrible plastic, and you'd move a little bit and go.
Yes, I also have had a terrible role. I remember I played the train and throw Mama from the train. And it was awful. I had to dress up like Thomas the Tank Engine.
Dress up?
Yes. If you ever notice in Throw Mama from the Train, go back and watch it.
There's a face.
There's actually a face.
There's a face on the front of it, and it's the countenance of Sir Patrick Stewart.
My countenance. And of course, all the scenes that happened inside, they had cut my body open like a tauntaun.
Well, there's no other way to make motion pictures.
Not to upset Star Trek.
Robber. Our dear friend Hamburglar did the voice of the Tautons.
Is that true?
Rabble.
You're right, the good Hamburglar.
Rabble, rest in peace.
I'm still friends with the Hamburglar, but I won't talk to Grimace ever since he started.
The Hamburglar is quite dead, I'm sorry to tell you.
What? Are you kidding me?
Not at all.
Why didn't Deanna...
He was splayed. He was drawn and quartered.
Wait a minute, still? Because Dr. Crusher could probably put him back together.
Well, then you've got to beam him up to the ship.
I wish I could, but I can't find Geordie.
This sounds like perhaps it's time for Gandalf the White.
Oh, Gandalf.
It's a wardrobe change.
Well, look at you. You're beautiful.
That's right.
You're the most white I've ever seen anyone in all of motion pictures.
I look beautiful, like the Julian Assange.
Yes, Julian Assange, right when he was getting escorted out of the Ecuadorian embassy.
You've no sovereignty.
He was so beautiful. You know...
Julian Assange.
Assange too, Assangent.
This is a beauteous countenance I bring.
Who would you want to play in the WikiLeaks film?
Well, I would of course play Assange the Grey, and then after going away for some time in the embassy, I would emerge as Assange the White.
Well, it's funny because I would play Pamela Anderson.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yes,
Pamela Anderson.
What they would do is they could CGI the top of my head onto my chest, and then I'd have two big fat titties.
Wait a minute, so there would be three, then you would have the three faces of Janus.
Exactly.
The face and the face and the face. Oh, Wonka.
My boy, Waka, Nanu Nanu.
And then would you run across a beach and have your faces flapping?
Oh, God, no.
Bouncing up and down?
I would never do that because I support Julian Assange in 2017, 2018, 2019. My show's been off the air.
Well, it could certainly be attempted. We could try it in Berlin. We could do it
in here and lecture me about what I could do.
We could stage it like a production of Bertolt Brecht. Watch your tone, old boy.
No, I like it. You're absolutely right. A 2-penny opera with a 3rd penny walked in with Titty.
Ah, Penny and Titty again.
You know,
you are a clever knight, Stuart.
We're both knights.
We're both knights. Don't you? Do you ever play with the royal Lego knight set that they give you when you become a knight?
Oh yes, of course. I've built onto it.
The Queen presents you with Lego knights.
Where the Queen presented it to you?
Well, the Queen personally.
Mine was mailed to me.
Well, you were probably busy on the stage.
No, I was just filming Blunt Talk, and that I only have to shoot 2 days a week.
Well, you appear when you are as good at illusion, as skilled an illusionist as you are, you might even fool the Queen into believing you are unavailable.
Well, I
was quite available, and I pestered her, and I demanded to receive it in person.
Did you play with it in front of her?
I constructed it, yes. I constructed it in front of her.
Now I think I know why she didn't invite me. Because I played with it in front of the Queen too, but not the same way, you know what I mean?
I believe you speak of your penis.
Yes, I have quite a fixation with it.
That's a wonderful. They think, where does it come from? Where does it come from?
Where does your penis come from?
I was talking about your talent, yes. Sir. I was speaking of your instrument. where your singular union with the spirit of music, with the muses of ancient old.
Well, you see, I see you, and I look at a man who is a mask. That he doesn't even need masks. I mean, I would come over to your house, of course, and wear a mask, but I see you, and your face makes masks, and your voice trembles the very air that it speaks, and you can play anything. It's always been so exciting to see you, except, of course, Jean-Luc Picard. But besides that, you can play anybody.
Well, I'll have you know, I've played several parts on your little show. I played a Ferengi, of course.
Yes, I remember Jethro the Ferengi.
There weren't a lot of parts available to those of us who loved men who loved men, people of the same gender.
This is true.
In the 1990s, we were relegated to playing parts like Ferengi.
It is true that Gene always said, let the gays play aliens and be done with it.
And at the time, that was as generous as it got, but thank God we're so much better off now when a gay can have a podcast or something, but still very little more than that.
You know, I'll tell you my technique, and then you tell me yours. When I was a young boy, I've learned that in order to inhabit the character,
yes,
it was important for me to make my voice as low as possible when I was saying something serious.
Well, it's easier to sound It's easier to sound properly British if you have a few warbles and the timber of a falling tree. That kind of timber.
Much lower.
Yes. If you're stuttering, getting a little bit, finding your way in the path, people don't notice that you don't sound right.
And so the lower you go,
I've been doing this accent.
Yes.
I've been putting it on my whole life.
I've been putting it on too. Everyone knows that British people are born with normal accents like Americans, which is the normal voice, of course. Normal English white voice.
And
which is
we take on the trappings, we take on these roles. Every Englishman is an actor and art.
Yes.
Why do you think we win so many awards?
Because we're all acting
We're all
the time.
pretending to be British from the start.
There are certain weeks in all of the UK where nobody's visiting. We have no tourists.
The Mayfair.
Mayfair. And when that happens, how do we all sound? We're like, hi, how are you? What's going on? It's me.
It's great to see you, Patrick.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Oh, what a horrid time.
It's terrible, but it allows our vocal cords to relax. I remember
This was the old Druid ritual.
Yes.
Where they used to go into the woods with torches and hoods, and they learned to speak like Englishmen.
Well, they did. Of course, the Druids, were masters of stone energy. And they were able to manipulate energy and matter because they understood that the intersecting binds of solid locked matter could be manipulated through positioning of crystals. That's why at Newgrange you have that large dome in which is supposedly a dimensional portal. And you can go
you're talking about a Stonehenge.
Well, no, Stonehenge, of course, is more of like a weather vane. It's to determine the different dimensional rifts, so which one would be best to break through. And then once you break through it, you go to Newgrange and you step on through.
And is Salisbury Hill figure into this magnetosphere?
I remember a song.
Climbing up on Salisbury Hill, flum, 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 flum.
Here's another version. I lost my thrills on Salisbury Hill.
Turned into a Blueberry Hill by Chubby Checker.
Chubby Checker, who stole that from me.
From the Druids.
From the Druids. I sang a Druid cover band for 4 months called the Hoodies.
What a terrible misfire of a career.
You know what? We were very popular in the South.
You scandal, you fool, you old fool.
My Druid rock band.
Strike that from none of this is going in.
Wait a minute. My Druid rock band toured the South in the 60s, and we all wore hoods. Everyone loved us, and we couldn't figure out why.
Because you look like an evil son of a bitch. I've with me at all times these leather volumes. There they are.
My goodness, that's a lot of books.
I wanted to do a run through the theatre with you. We've got True West. We've got A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Bertolt Brecht. Let's pick up another one here. I have by William Shakespeare. Macbeth. Oh, no. Oh, we've said it. Turn around, you fool. Oh. Spin thrice to the...
spin. Drop your pants.
It's to the left or counterclockwise. I don't know.
Now rub each other's butts. Rub it. Spit in my throat.
I'm spitting and rubbing and turning. We've said the cursed name of the Scottish
Wait a
plague.
minute, my codpiece fell off. I'm inside you. I'm finished.
Sauron!
I'm Locutus! Borg! Wait a minute. Moriarty!
The darkest power from the deep has overtaken us.
Have we not stood by and let them run roughshod over us? I am done waiting.
Coax.
You ought to know by now. I'm sorry, but I think that we copulated.
Let's read True West and be done with it. Let's read True West. You want to be Austin or Lee this time?
I want to be Lee.
Well, then I'll be Austin. Let's do it at scene 9.
I love the jeans.
Act 2, scene 9. Oh, so, well, you Lee.
I love Lee jeans.
Oh, very good. Levi Strauss.
All right. Read it back to me.
Just a second.
Come on. Just read what you got.
I can't keep up. It's not the same as if I had a typewriter.
Just read what we've got so far. Forget about the rest.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Luke says...
Luke?
Yeah.
His name's Luke?
Yeah.
All right. We can change that name later to Jory. What he say? Come on.
He says, I told you, Bilbo, you were a fool to follow me in here. I know this prairie like the back of my hand.
No! That's not what I said. I never said that.
That's what I wrote!
It's not what I said. I never said like the back of my hand. That says stupid. That's one of those, what do you call it? What do you call it?
The ring.
Oh, what do you call it when something's been said 1,000 times before? What do you call that, Deanna?
A play. And scene. Theater on the stage. Theater, you can make you smile or rage.
Theater, you make all kinds of sounds.
Theater, you'll go up and then go down.
Down. As down where you go on the director. Down. You take it really hard.
Down. There's no need for bottom shaming. Down. It's as good as being on top.
And we are back. This is the Underculture podcast. Oh my God, I can't believe we got that amazing audio behind the scenes of Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen's reuniting in podcast format.
It was pretty amazing.
And here, helping me bring that to life, Anthony Atamanuik, my old dear
friend. What's going to change, by the way, in any of... You could basically just take that whole thing that was done and just have it be our voices. It would be the actual true interview of each other.
I know. And by the way, if anybody's interested in learning how to do, a lot of people do these things, tutorials on YouTube about, here's how you do the various regional accents, an Australian accent, Alabama, Scottish or whatever. There's a shortcut, and it's this podcast. If you're interested in, I'm going to call that British Theater American. If you're interested in just the shortcut to British Theater American, we do have tutorial tapes.
Yes. It's a masterclass also. We signed up with Masterclass.
It's Masterclass on grifter.com.
Yes. Yeah. We're doing our Masterclass in all regional accents, dialects. And I think that one really...
That was as accurate as it gets.
Accurate as it gets and not at all overlappingly similar.
I love those two because they do sound the same to me.
They do.
I know that I'm wrong. But
Yes.
to me they sound the same. And also that we didn't sound the same the whole time we were doing it. You were saying you had never heard the term bottom shaming before.
No, I never heard that term. And I think it's a shameful act, by the way, for anyone who's doing that.
Well, yes, it happened. It's just the same. It's the same reason. It's this.
It's the cock holster joke that Colbert did. That would be an example of bottom shaming, right?
Basically, it's like an iteration of male chauvinism or like masculine chauvinism, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's interesting how it shows up even in a world where it's like a man and a man.
There's bottom shaming within the gay community.
Oh,
where
for
tops
sure.
Shame.
It's
bottom.
not necessarily in the relationship. You might get into that kind of who knows. That's
Well, that might be.
we're talking
fun,
about
right?
sex play, but I'm talking about I mean, it might be in the culture, in the wider culture.
Well, it's saying things like he takes, like someone being like, "Oh, he takes it up the ass," right? As an insult would be, well, both homophobic, but is also bottom shaming.
Yes, but then I love those jokes. I love those jokes.
I love
as
them
someone who
too,
takes
yeah.
them up, as someone who takes it up the ass sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I
it's
do
like
have a colonoscopy coming up.
They should offer it. They should offer a version of a colonoscopy that is like, are you curious? And also you're of a certain age. I want to see that doctor advertise on the subway.
Dr. Gismore?
Oh, I see that made you pop off in audio format.
You know what that is?
Is that your boner alarm?
That's my boner alarm. That is, even though I have my phone set to where it's like no sounds can come in, I forget that there's a favorites list that you have for emergencies.
Uh-huh.
And of course, my dear mother called me, but you know what? It's not Mother's Day anymore. So bye-bye, right to voicemail.
I called you twice. You didn't call me back. Have you played Patrick Stewart before?
Only privately with John Gemberling on the phone.
I see that there's this Three Musketeers hat behind us now, and now I'm.
You wish I'd worn
now
it the
I'm
entire
wishing.
time.
Now that I'm seeing it, I'm wishing we had done the Cyrano de Bergerac thing, but it only could have gone worse. Tony, they say you teach improv at UCB.
You
did, and
it's been it'll be 4 years this August.
Oh, congratulations! Like sobriety. But do you believe in performing at the top of your intelligence? I don't care.
I mean, here's the thing: is I think that performing at the top of your intelligence, if we go into teacher mode just for a moment, and
this is a window into the masterclass.
Yes, this is a window into the masterclass. I think that a lot of people are confused by that term. I think that term, essentially, if you boil it down, means playing to the top of your intelligence simply means don't remove things off the table. That
because you think the audience won't understand it.
Yeah, so it's more so like if I'm a doctor, I'm not like wowed by the fact that like I could do an X-ray.
Well,
because it would be stupid.
I'm glad that you put it that way because I'm pretty confident that nobody out in the audience listening to this today
knew anything.
They weren't in the dark about any of our references. I think it was pretty. I mean, I think we were playing. Yes, that was.
We played. I mean, my thing is you're right. Who cares? Be funny. My rule is always be funny, and then whatever else happens, great.
Be funny. Make the people laugh.
Make the people laugh. That's your job. That's your job. Your job's to make them laugh.
That's like the weasels in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did he tell you about too much laughing?
Yeah, you're too much laughing. Where's that rubber?
Okay, boys. Please. Oh.
You can really do it, right?
Please.
Here's mine.
Please. That is, I love the auditions for Roger Rabbit. That was a guy in a brown suit and a tie that didn't go all the way down to the belt. He was like, I think I can play the part of Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
Well, why? I might sound like this. Instead of Charles Fleischer, all the other guys that showed up.
Hi, my name's Sal. I'll be reading for Roger Rabbit. Pie, please.
Hey, that's right. I heard you're making a movie about rabbits.
Yeah.
What kind of rabbit is he?
Well, he's like he's.
All right. You ready for my read? Here's my read for Roger Rabbit.
Okay, sure.
Hide me, Eddie. Please. dark.
Mr. Blank, get the fuck out
No,
of
I
here.
did it. I did what you want.
Mr. Blank.
Ah, shut up.
Hey,
Get out. Go get run over, you fucking son of a bitch. Hey, watch out or I'll throw a thumbtack at your eye like I did to Tex Avery.
hey, Mel.
Tony, I love having you in here. This is it's like hot in the room.
Yeah.
One more thing, we were talking about the bottom shaming, and
Yes.
and I wanted to tell you, there's this old Sinatra song from the 40s, old Sinatra song from the days when he was with that famous band. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember the name of the band, but
like World War II or maybe earlier.
yes,
where,
it's when he was like his first round
Young
of fame,
Sinatra.
when he actually had a good voice before the first throat surgery, as my grandmother used to say.
and there's this song called My Buddy, and it's about it's like a male friend. It's a man singing about, and I, of course, listen to it now, and I'm like, it's a gay anthem. But it's like, my buddy, I miss my buddy.
Oh man,
And then we're like, that's as close as we had to a love song.
I miss my buddy, my roommate, my pal, the guy I call my cousin at family events.
Sometimes I introduce him as my lawyer, and that might sound funny, but that's my buddy.
Who goes to a show with me and dinner? Who goes to Vermont for the weekend and then say, we were betting on the winner at the track. When we never went to
We never went to the track.
We never went to the track.
There were never any horses.
Just leave me alone. Stop asking me about my body.
He's my buddy. Did I ever told you about what makes I've laughed about the Sinatra songs?
Yeah.
That he always sings this proud song of some city he loves.
Yes.
In Chicago, in Chicago. But there must be other towns that were like lesser, that he didn't enjoy that much, that didn't make the album.
Don't you want to join me in Des Moines?
Don't you want to join me in Des Moines? Winnipeg, Winnipeg, when you've been taken down a peg, you're in Winnipeg.
You're going to fall for Fall River, Massachusetts, the highest heroin per capita. And by the way, did you know that Lizzie Borden did her blows in Fall River?
Fall River, Mass.
Fall River, Mass. Don't be an ass.
Just pull up in Fall River, Mass. In Burbank, in shitty old Burbank. It's probably bedtime, even though the sun's not down. At best, you can say your neighbor's got horses, but there's no horsing around anywhere in Burbank.
Columbus, it's named after a murderous rapist. Columbus.
And that would be, he did that with the Andrews sisters.
Columbus, it's named after a murderous rapist. Columbus,
Christopher Columbus, a bad
guy. He gave them all smallpox, but now you can have small talks at the local cafes.
He gave a bad name to the Italians.
He gave a bad name to the Italians. Whatever. But
It's
now,
colonialism starting out with Christopher Columbus.
Town. Whenever he needed to end a song
On a rhyme.
he would just say town.
Down in town. That's
Yeah.
the two last
No joke.
rhymes.
He literally be like, town. Okay.
Hey, speaking of Sinatra, I want to because we're doing we did it. People don't know this. We did a Trump versus Bernie on the live tour. You were Donald Trump and I was Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
And we would end our shows with the Sinatra song, but it didn't make any of the TV specials.
Me and My Shadow.
Yes.
And
because-
by the way, it turned out to be one of, if not the most prophetic things that we did in the show, because he was Trump was the shadow self to all citizens of the United States, right? And Bernie was like sort of the front, the pure consciousness, and Trump was the subconscious shadow self combined.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm lost in the dark as well.
really? I don't like the dark. For obvious reasons.
You racist fuck.
Listen, the dark is working more. Dark unemployment is down to like 2.6%.
You son of a bitch. 3 years of this is enough.
What does the dark have to lose?
The only thing that we have to fear is me not being the nominee itself.
Please. Crazy Bernie's going to be giving it away.
Nice one. Crazy Bernie.
Yeah,
Good job.
It's great. It's the best nickname I can come up with because I love you.
Mr. President, with all due respect, shut up.
Bernie, with all due respect, keep talking, please. You're doing a great job.
So we're bringing that back. That's Trump versus Bernie, baby.
Yeah.
We're bringing it back this July.
Yes.
We're at the July 17th. We're going to be in Highland Park in Los Angeles at the Lodge Room.
And then we're going to be
2 days
July
later,
19th
the
in
19th,
San Diego.
San Diego Comic-Con at the American Comedy Company, where there's 2 shows on the same night.
And more tour dates to come.
Check out Trump versus Bernie. That's our handle on all the social media for Trump versus Bernie, and also TrumpVersusBernie.com.
Yeah, which, it's going to be. I think this is the year. I think this is it.
It might end up being a Trump versus Bernie election.
And if it
depending on if Joe Biden Inspector Gadgets out of the race or Inspector Gadgets through into the race.
I can tell you
either way, he's going to be Inspector Gadgeting his way. Dooba-dooba-doop, Inspector Biden.
Yeah, he's like, I think that I think Joe Biden is not going to last through like Iowa.
What are you talking about? You're not even going to give me Iowa? I believe. Look, here's my solution to corn. You gotta come up behind corn and just start massaging it until those kernels pop off.
Hey, it's me, Michael Bennett from Colorado. I just sound like any white guy, and I am so upset.
Some of these guys are the same people. Yeah. It's like when you're watching a Gumby animation and like the blockheads all show up and they're like the same thing.
Yeah.
They're the same. There's no reason for them all to be running.
Hi, I'm Mike Inslee. I'm also running for president, and I'm also a white guy. And my thing is, I'll tell you, you know what's the difference between me and Michael Bennett? Michael Bennett believes in jobs. I believe in other jobs. And we both believe that we need to take it a little easy.
Hi, I forgot if I'm Eric Swalwell or Bill de Blasio. I'm so similar with myself, I forgot. Can we share the podium?
You know, de Blasio didn't. I've done his inner circle dinner the last 2 years as Trump, right? Mm-hmm. And this year, because he's thinking of running for president, they didn't ask me to do the dinner this year. But the best part is that every time New York Post or Daily News uses a picture of de Blasio, it's always a picture with me grabbing him as Trump and him like trying to pull away. And that's like the photo that they use in the paper all the time.
How did they get these photos?
So it's so great because he's just marred by an image with me as Trump, which from afar you're like, did he get into a tussle? But he did get me a 4-way stop at my intersection where I live, so I'm not going to complain too much.
Anthony Atamanuik, you're a hero. It's always good to see you when I'm in New York. Come back to LA again soon.
I will be. It's always great to see you.
I'll be seeing you very soon at Trump versus Bernie.
I cannot wait for this next year and a half.
Oh,
I really can't.
I thought I was done.
No, I did too. I thought I was totally done.
Trump versus Bernie.
The show and everything.
Here's what I have to say about Trump versus Bernie. If you know about it, you could. If you know about it, great.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't know about it, we've got a bunch of specials up on TrumpVersusBernie.com on YouTube, and we have an album out. You can listen to what we did before. We're bringing it back.
Yeah, download that album. See James on the President Show as Bernie as well, because that is all of our timeline. Everything is canon that's happened from the tour all the way through the albums, the specials. It's all canon.
You think Trump versus Bernie, what a silly idea for a show. Yeah, guess what? We're in a reality where you will be forced to keep reliving a Trump versus Bernie, and either you get it right, or we're just going to keep doing the show every 4 years.
That's the whole point. You guys need to get it right. We tried to warn everybody. We've been warning people. We were ahead of everybody in every way, and every single thing you see that's being posited as some new idea now on the news, James and I already covered it now almost 4 years ago.
Well,
that's what's insane.
Time to polish off the old crystal ball, Tony.
Do you realize we started, it would be in August or September of 2015. So this August will be 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years.
4 years. We're ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We got to jump on ourselves this time. Maybe we'll have some impact on the election.
Yeah.
Trump versus Bernie.
Likely.
You can check out the stuff we filmed and recorded for the last election and for this election. Check us out at our new tour dates, rolling out slowly. Have patience.
And it'll be an all new show, by the way. It's not gonna. We're not rehashing our old stuff. I think that's
speak for
important.
yourself. I'm rehashing everything verbatim. Wow, incredible. There it is, folks. That was a wild interview. What an insane episode this is. With the content that we are getting and are not responsible for is really impressing me, just from a comedic point of view. Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Sirs, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. A conversation for the ages. I'm grateful. And also, you should know, thanks to Anthony Atamanuik, my dear friend. He played Patrick Stewart. I was Ian McKellen. We dropped the pretense at the end of the thing. If you listen long enough, who cares what the provenance of anything is? It's just us making it up. Anthony Atamanuik, my dear friend. We're bringing Trump versus Bernie back next week, July 17th. We're at the Lodge Room in Highland Park here in Los Angeles. The tickets are available on Eventbrite. That's July 17th, Wednesday at 8 p.m. at the Lodge Room. Eventbrite for tickets for Trump versus Bernie. And also, right after that, Friday, July 19th, we're in San Diego during Comic-Con, doing 2 shows at the American Comedy Company. Trump versus Bernie. There's an early show and there's a late show. Tickets for both are available at AmericanComedyCo.com. That is going to be fun. Can't wait for that. So thanks to Anthony Atamanuik. He's in town. I'm going to see him soon. Andy Kindler, by the way, was our Jeffrey Epstein at the top of the show. He's playing this weekend, the Acme Comedy Club in Minneapolis. He's playing there through Saturday, July 13th. You can get tickets online at acmecomedycompany.com. And follow Andy Kindler, infamously follow Andy Kindler on Twitter at Andy Kindler. Dear friend, my stepfather, Andy Kindler. Andy adopted me 6 months ago. We haven't announced that before, but here you go. Also, shout out to a friend of the show, Courtney Peroso, who was on last week as Grimes, and she's on an upcoming episode too. She's hilarious. And Courtney has a new one-person show called Gutter Plum. It's playing in Los Angeles this weekend, July 11th through 13th at the Lyric Hyperion. And also, Gutter Plum is going to the UK. It's playing the Edinburgh Fringe at Underbelly. So Courtney Peroso is awesome. And I think that there's going to be some UK fans of the Underculture attracted like moths to the accurate British voice impressions on this episode. So Courtney Peroso, friend of the show, will be in Edinburgh at Underbelly this August. So that's the show. Please, again, remember Trump versus Bernie is coming up here in Los Angeles next Wednesday, July 17th at the Lodge Room. And then Friday, July 19th at the American Comedy Company in San Diego. The AmericanComedyCompany.com for tickets there. And for the Los Angeles show, tickets are on Eventbrite.com. Speaking of Trump versus Bernie, when I got to record this episode with Anthony Atamanuik, we said, hey, why not take it out with our old Trump versus Bernie closing number? I don't know. We're not doing it in the shows anymore these days, but it never made any of the TV specials. And we sang this at every live show. It was the old Sinatra, for the Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. number, Me and My Shadow. And we thought it was a perfect, stupid closer to our hour and a half / 2 hour Trump versus Bernie debates when we were doing that 3 and 4 years ago. So here it is. This is a Trump versus Bernie classic to kick off the return of Trump versus Bernie for 2019-2020. This is Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders with Me and My Shadow.
Well, Trump, here we are again.
I can't believe that it's been 4 years, Bernie.
Yeah, no shit.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, and it's wrong. What you have done is wrong.
But they keep letting me get away with it, Bernie. They love me. I'm good for ratings.
They're not letting me get away with stopping you.
You know what? Stop asking kids about whether they do blow or not.
You know what? With all due respect, Mr. President, shut the fuck up.
I guess we'll agree
to agree with each other.
Not on my watch. Are you ready?
Hit it!
Like the wallpaper sticks to the wall.
Like the seashore clings to the sea.
Like you'll never get rid of your shadow. Frat Trump, you'll never get rid of me.
Let all the others fight and fuss. Whatever happens,
We've got us. We're closer than pages that stick in the book. We're closer than ripples that play in a brook. We're strolling wherever you'll find me, just look. Closer than a miser or the bloodhounds to Liza me.
We're closer than smog when it clings to
And
LA.
my
We're closer than Bobby is to JFK.
Not a soul can bust this team in two. We stick together like glue.
And when it's sleeping time,
That's when we rise.
we start to swing.
Swing to the sky.
Our clocks don't chime.
Oh, what a surprise. They ring, dum, a ding, ding, Happy New Year. And so to repeat what I said at the start, they'll need a large crowbar to tear us apart. We're alone, but far from blue. Wow! Before we get finished, we'll make the town roar. We'll make all the late spots and then a few more. We'll wind up at Chili's right after Toot Shore. Life is gonna be we for my shadow and me.
Now, you know something.
Sorry, Trump,
What is it?
would you mind doing me a favor?
Do what? What do you want
Take
now?
it one more time.
Total socialists. From the top?
No, from the ending.
Are you kidding me? Tremendous.
Oh, while we're singing to mention a few. We'll drop in at Denny's, the little love too. We'll wind up at Chili's, whatever we do. Life is gonna be we for my shadow and me. Oh, God.
Unbelievable.
1%
No,
of
I
the
don't
top
want. Stop
1%
talking.
of the top.
That's not going to work
Shut
this
up.
time anymore, Bernie.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey, with associate producer Alex Honnett. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcast.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram at Forever Dog Team and liking our page on Facebook.